everyone, welcome to another Random Talk Sunday. Sorry that this video is being uploaded late. The audio was giving me some issues, and unfortunately when I uploaded everything, the audio for some reason was not working properly. But I so far have been having success on my end. I'm hoping that that translates once everything is uploaded onto YouTube. Yeah, without further ado, for this particular Random Talk Sunday, I thought it would be interesting to briefly go over my thoughts when it comes to the concepts of winning and losing. I think oftentimes we can associate ourselves being within either of these categories, but also both as well. You know, at one point we're winning, at one point we're losing. And this can be in a variety of different scenarios, you know, from playing sports to maybe even grades um, to jobs to even companies who win and lose in certain areas. Um, so life is, I guess you could say, one big competition. But the thing about winning and losing is I think more so reflects, I think, onto people's characters and to the way they react to winning or losing. Um, for example, if you win and you're kind of constantly in everybody's face about how you're the biggest, best, and greatest in the whole wide world, it's probably not gonna really set well with the people um, who are maybe not as successful or um, you know or as good as winning as you are. Again, I think it really depends upon how you sort of react to these things. Also, it's with losing as well. Like, you can either um, use it as a stepping stone for improvement, or you can whine and complain about it. And, with winning, you can also be fairly humble and maintain a level of good sportsmanship and whatnot. So, really, these two categories are obviously things that I think, all have experienced within life at some point. And I think it really just all depends on how we, react to them. If we can react to them in a positive way, or if we can react to them in a negative way. And in doing so, it really ends up impacting the people that surround us. So I think that's the very important part to understand when it comes to winning and losing. And I think it's important to consider too that just because somebody is a winner doesn't necessarily make them the label. I don't think there's really such a thing as obviously there is in logically there is always winners and losers, but then there's always there's always the character behind the label, and I think that's obviously more important than whether or not you won this and this amount of awards and whatnot, or you achieved this and this amount in life. It really depends on how you sort of how you how you how your winnings or losings had an impact on you. Like, and usually those things can either again be positive or negative. If you win all the time and you're constantly in everyone's face about it, and you try to be very, overly egotistical and whatnot, that usually doesn't pan out well with those that are not in your position. And even other people that have probably won in certain things would go, why is this person constantly bragging about what he has? I don't care what he has, And it's the same thing with people who end up losing, getting angry, people who ultimately were better than they were, and feeling that life is unfair because this person is somehow better than me and or won in certain respects, and I lost. It's really about the way you handle it. Like, if you just if you take the experiences that you've had from both positions and have ultimately a positive reaction to it, and in doing so try to kind of empower others around you and try to be um, ultimately a good sport. And I think a lot of it has to deal with like sportsmanship and just kind of having a certain amount of professionalism. I think that's really ultimately what it boils down to, and really says more about the person's character than whether or not they've achieved so much, or have only done so and so much amount within their lifetime. I think that's ultimately what's important, is the kind of impact that you end up leaving behind. And a lot of that is through our sort of ability to win and our ability to lose. So again, I think that's really the important thing to really understand when it comes to these two concepts, is that we've all been in both situations, but it's really how we react to them that ultimately uh, leaves the biggest impact. And I think it's all through learning and growth, because even when you win, you still learn, and even when you lose, you obviously learn things too. So I think it's important to take the amount of times that you win in life and the amount of times that you lose in life, and truly appreciate what you've gained out of the experience, no matter if you won slash succeeded, or if you failed and didn't win. So I think that's really the thing that a lot of people end up missing when it comes to these two concepts sometimes, is they think only of the they only think of the images of winning and losing, and they don't think about the reactions that result from being within either position. So I think that's, though, really ultimately all I can say when it comes to this concept. I think it's really, or these two particular concepts, but I think it's a very fascinating part of sort of, I guess you could say, life in general, because there's always going to be those kinds of things that end up resulting in people doing better in certain areas than others. And that's okay. And I think it's all about learning, your strengths and weaknesses, and a lot of that goes through, winning and through losing. So yeah, I think that's really ultimately, though, all I can really say when it comes to this particular topic, but I'd be more than happy to hear what anybody else has to say. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'm more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and I hope to see you on the next video, and hopefully the audio works this time. Bye-bye.